Man be man is back.
Oh, okay, Jay, boys, done it again. Oh my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered. You talk to us, you talk to him, but oh, look at that, my God.
This is your boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy That's True Inferno. Back with a very interesting commentary video. So, let's get straight into it. So, I'm warning you guys right here, right now. You might as well grab some popcorn, get your drinks, get your smokes, do whatever it is you have to do to get yourself comfortable, because this is another one of them long videos, and some parental advisory is advised for this one. Now, let me give you the backstory about how I came up with today's topic. So once again, I'm putting that other topic on hold. I'm gonna try to finish it up next week. But anywho, I want to say, how long ago was this? This was sometime last week. This was late last week. Might have been Friday. I want to say it was Friday. And I came across this topic, and I was reading some of the comments that this topic was getting, and it was interesting. And I felt like I should get in on this. And the topic I want to talk about is this. This person, I'm not going to give out any names, by the way. I'm not going to give out any names. But this person who started this topic is somebody who I went to high school with, and that I would once in a while hang out with, a few years back. And now I basically see him once a year, which is pretty funny. But the topic that he started on Facebook is Black women are destroying the masculinity of black men. ... And that topic blew up. We talking at least 450 comments from that topic. It is crazy. Like, I read every single one of them. I crap you not. I read every single one of the, everybody who posted in that, under that topic. I read every single one of them. And I went from reading these comments, and I just went from enjoying myself to getting somewhat invested in it, to laughing at it, to rolling my eyes at it, to laughing at it again, to sighing, to laughing at it one more time. And it's crazy. Like, it's crazy. So originally what I was going to do was, like, I was taking notes of some of the things that some of these people were saying. I was going to read them out to you guys. But do you know how long that would be? That's going to be long as heck. This video was going to be long as heck. I'm not doing a part 2. So, cause I was thinking of doing a part 2 where part 1 would be basically me reading every single comment that I found interesting. But that's going to be long as heck. So I'm not going to do that. So there you go with that. I'm just going to break this down to the best of my ability. And this topic made me actually create a brainstorm. Because normally when I do a commentary video, like, I'll picture in my mind what I'm going to say. Sometimes I even rehearse what I'm going to say once or twice, and then I'll just do the video. And other times, if it's a deep topic, like, I will jot some notes here and there, rather. But I had to brainstorm in regards to what I want to say about this topic, which is pretty crazy. I've never done that before. Never done it before. So, let's get started, shall we? So, again, let's get on to how this topic is worded. And that is this. Black women are destroying the masculinity of black men. And this is so opinionated. So, when something is opinionated, rather, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about based on what you think, what he thinks, what she thinks, what I think. There's no right or wrong answer here. Unless the answer is like blatantly out there, then it's like, yeah, you dead wrong for that one. But for the most part, there's no right or wrong answer here. So, seeing that this is opinionated, this could go any old way. This could go this could go anywhere. So I figure, okay, how can we tone this down? Let's look up the definition of the word masculinity, or in this case, masculine. So I did that, and I went on dictionary.com, I went on merriam-webster.com, and I think I found the best definition for masculine or masculinity. But in this case, they tying it down with masculine. And that is this, as my Xbox Live just went off. And that is this: having qualities traditionally ascribed to men as strength and boldness. And that's the second definition to masculine, because the first definition wasn't exactly helpful. Because that first definition was pertaining to or characteristics of a man or men. And hearing both of those definitions, they don't help, right? Because they're both opinionated, especially that first definition. That's why I wanted to ignore the first definition and go straight to the second. But even the second one is opinionated because, again, having qualities traditionally ascribed to men as strength and boldness. And my question is, how much strength and how much boldness is needed to be described as masculine? And it is opinionated. So this whole definition is opinionated. So that's why I said there's no right or wrong answer. Again, unless you just went completely left field, there is no right or wrong answer to this question, which is, again, are black women really destroying the masculinity of black men? And let's move on to the comments. So I went on to the comments. The comments was all over the place. Again, we talking at least 450 comments. And I read them all. I read every single one of them. Well, obviously, with the pictures, obviously, there was some in there. But yeah, I read every single one of them. And I found some issues within some, not all, but some of these comments. You see what I just did there? Did you just hear what I just said? Let me repeat that. I read every single one of these comments, and I found some issues within some, not all, but some of them. And that's the first issue right there. And people in general, they tend to do this. I never done this. I try my hardest not to do this. And I believe I have a pretty good track record of not doing this. And that is this: categorizing. Basically stereotyping. So, and that's a thing that I saw within these comments. But again, not every single person who left a comment under this topic did this. But I want to say, it's between most of you and some of you. There's no way I can say all of you, because not all of you did it. And I'm not comfortable in saying most or the majority. But at the same time, I'm not comfortable saying some. So it's in between. And that is this. Like, I'll give you the perfect example. Because like I said, I jot some notes from some comments. And one example that I saw. Here goes one right here. And again, I'm not saying any names, but this is a short one. Black men are destroying their own masculinity. So, if I'm not me, if I was another black guy, I would look at that and say, and more like, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, this was a female who said this quote. If I was another black guy and I saw this quote, I would assume that she's basically saying every single black guy in the world are destroying their own masculinity. Now, obviously, that's not true, but that's how some people look at that. So, and let me see if I can find a better example of this. And again, there's a lot of notes here, though. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. This topic itself is pretty crazy. And let's see. Like I said, it's a lot that I took down from this topic from different people. And here we go. Well, let's see. Here we go right here. And again, and I'm not even sure who wrote this one, if it's a guy or a girl. I don't want to mention any names. That's why I didn't write down the names. But here's the quote. Black men, and then of course, this is this person addressing black men. Y'all stupid for letting. And then again, these grammar are off. So I'm going to read it exactly how they put it. I'm going to try to fill in the blanks here. And just reading that comment starting to make my hair hurt. But I'm going to try my best to read it. All right, here we go. Black men, and this person addressing black men. And that's characterizing right there. So again, if I was another black guy, I'm assuming that this person is addressing every single black man on the planet. But let's read the quote, Sari. Y'all stupid for letting ain't shit moments happen to our sisters. Plus, we encourage toxic notions. And then this person went on to say, and by reading that, I'm assuming this is a guy. I'm gonna continue on with his quote. Now he's addressing black women. Black women, I understand y'all in pain, but not every man out there. And I'm assuming he wants to say want to hurt you. Now he going against the categorization. He going against categorizing here in this case. Moving on. When some of y'all kind are guilty and underhand schemes, but the key part is y'all can get away with it. Okay, grammar aside, now this was a good and a bad example of categorizing, especially on that black man part, because it's like I'm getting the sense that even though I know he ain't, because that's just my opinion, but I'm getting the sense that he's addressing every single black man out there when he said y'all stupid. And some people can't look at that and take it that way. So, and again, like I gave y'all 2 bad examples, but there's better examples on here. But either there's a lot of notes here, so I couldn't find it exactly, or the better examples are still in the Facebook post, but I felt like that they ain't worthy enough for me to jot down as notes or whatever. Now, another main issue that I saw within the comment section is that because again, there's go me nearly categorizing, but some of y'all pointing fingers, and the majority of those that were pointing fingers were women. And like, I'll give you, like, matter of fact, that first comment, black men are destroying their own masculinity. I read that one earlier, and that's an example right there. And then there was another example. All right, here we go. Stop blaming women for your inability to be a man. There's a lot of things wrong with that statement, but we'll get to that later. And basically, the problem here is y'all, not y'all as every single one of you, but some of you that were pointing the finger act like women in general, or not every women in general, but every single female is completely innocent of this. And that's not true. Yes, not some. I'm going to say most are innocent in the quote unquote destruction of masculinity. And again, major emphasis on quote unquote. But don't just say that every single female or every single black female in this case in existence, living or otherwise, is completely innocent in the quote unquote destruction of masculinity amongst black men. That's not true at all. So, and again, there was some that was pointing fingers, and that was a reoccurring theme. Now, again, not every single female who posted in there was doing this, but some of you were, as if y'all completely innocent, and that's not the case at all. Now, another common issue that I saw is that some of you guys were getting off topic. Like, it was crazy. Like, like y'all try to make it look like it was tying into the issue, but it just kind of went left field. And one example of this is, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, like the parenting or the lack of a father in the child's life. And y'all went so in depth with that. And I'm like, that's, according to the guy who started the topic, that's not what this is about. Now, granted, that is part of the reason why, quote unquote, masculinity amongst black men are getting destroyed. But y'all took that to a whole nother level. Like, there's other examples of y'all getting off topic or people getting off topic within this topic, but that was the main one to me. Like, that was an essay in itself right there. And then another issue that I saw here, and this is a small issue, but it's an issue nevertheless, is that the negativity. Like, I saw so many M words and, and people saying, calling each other. Well, I ain't gonna go that far, but yeah, I saw a lot of negativity in there. But they try to play off like, no, it's cool, blah blah blah. I'm like, man, y'all getting too invested in this. No, don't say no, it's cool if y'all calling each other niggas and stuff like that, man. There's some negativity in some of y'all posts. Again, not all of you, not most of you, but some, just some. So here's the question. Do I think that black women are destroying the masculinity of black men? And again, there's no right or wrong answer here because that question is opinionated. The definition of masculinity is opinionated because, as some of you pointed out, it's based on your definition of masculinity and what you perceive to be masculine or masculine enough. So, do I think black women are responsible for the quote-unquote destruction of black men's masculinity? I'm going to say yes and no. And there's more reasons why it's no than yes. But I'm not saying yes doesn't exist, because it does, but not as much as no. And there's really 4 reasons why, and each 4 of these reasons have categories. Like, I crap you not. So let's start off with another topic, and I read this already. I mean, another theme that I read, but it's partially true. One of the reasons why black women are not responsible because it's the black man's fault. Like, it's the black man's fault. So, and one of the reasons why it's the black man's fault is, and I'm going to read this quote. Like, I really jot this down. I really want to read it because this was the first of its kind that I saw. And I was like, wow. So, and I was like laughing at it, not because I thought it was funny, but because of how true and how savage of a quote it was. But there's some truth to it. Not some truth, but there's a lot of truth in it. And here's this quote right here, and I quote right here. Here I am scrolling by, like, okay, again, the grammar. Here I am scrolling by, like, and then, of course, he's shrugging, and I'm continuing on. I am continuing to be unbothered. If black women are destroying what counts as masculinity, then it must have been fragile as fuck to begin with. So, that's one issue right there. Some of these black men have fragile masculinities. Like, they, like, very weak to begin with, and that is true. Now, why that is the case, I mean, there's a million reasons why it's the case, but it's still a case nevertheless. So the masculinity of some, not all, see what I did there? See what I did there? Not all, not most, but some, but at the same time, none. I ain't saying none. I ain't saying none, but some a black man masculinity is indeed fragile. Some of y'all are fragile as heck, dog. And yeah, you do need to straighten up. You do need to straighten up. And again, that's not every single black man out there, but that's some, not most, not all, some. Now, another reason why black men is responsible for the destruction of their own, black, not their own, and this, best not in this case, not their own, but for other black men masculinity, see what I did there? Is because, and I actually saw this in a post, they created a standard for what masculinity is. So basically, everybody have their own opinion about what masculinity is. See what I did there? And if another guy, black, white, whoever, does not fit their description of masculinity, then they'll view them and say, oh, their masculinity destroyed. So, for example, while I was reading these comments and typing these notes and doing this brainstorm or whatever, I was watching wrestling. I was watching SmackDown Live, right? And the show ended with these 2 Canadians hugging each other because they won a match and they're basically talking shit to everybody. And one of the dudes on a microphone on live television in an arena full of people was like, hug me close. Or I forgot what he said. Either he said he hugged me or hold me close. And I was laughing. Like, first of all, these 2 was cracking me up prior to that to begin with. And then when he said that, I was cracking up even more. Now, seeing how I know the type of guys that they are, both of them are married. One of them have a kid. At the very least, one of them have a kid. Obviously not married together, but like they have rides. We respect the rides or whatever. Like, I made nothing of this. I just laughed it off because I thought it was funny. But if another guy was to watch that and saw that, he may think differently. He may think, wait, they're both hugging. One of them said, hug me close. No, that kind of fruity. Like, he may come to that conclusion. And because of that, he's questioning their masculinity. So, because his standards of what masculinity is different from theirs. Like they don't match his standard. Therefore, they're not masculine enough. And which brings me to a video I did a long time ago where I talk about how not the whole world, but how some of you, again, some, not all, but some have this mindset that everything evolves around you. And you have this me mentality. And actually, that was an arrogance video, actually. So I recommend you check that out. That's in the description box below. So another reason, another category that can fall under this is the generation difference, which I did see somebody talk about. Somebody mentioned how they got this 1950 mentality of what masculinity is and what it should be and how a relationship should be like compared to what it was like back in the day. You know, how when men went out and worked and women stayed at home, cook, and took care of the kids, all that crap or whatever. And here's my thing on that. Like, and the one thing that I saw was, oh, it's 2017. Things change. You need to adapt to the times, things of that nature. Now, here's my thing on the generation gap. Now, as an 80s baby, just like the person who posted this topic, matter of fact, again, we went to the same high school. We graduated in the same year. So obviously, we were born in the same year. Here's my thing on the whole generation gap. I'm more old school on most things, but I am not naive enough to know that, yeah, the times have changed, things are different. But at the same time, don't just shit on the old generation and toss them aside. What's supposed to happen is you look at how things were, you mold them, and you make them better. You don't just crap on them and toss them aside and say, oh man, that's how it is back in the day. This is how it is now. It should be like this now. You know, so again, you're supposed to take the old ways, you make them better, and you evolve. You don't toss away, you evolve. And while in some cases we as human beings are doing that, other cases we're not. In some cases we are reverting back to the old ways where they were not always good. And there's some cases where the old ways aren't bad either. So in the case of masculinity, again, it's opinionated on what you thought was good and what you thought was bad. But then again, this whole topic is opinionated. So there's, again, no right or wrong reason for this. But again, black man is a reason why the destruction, quote unquote, black man's masculinity, whether it's their own or others, is a reason. Now let's move on to the next reason. This is the one where like some of y'all went completely left field with this, and that's parenting. So again, this can be breaking down into two categories. The lack of a male figure. Now, just like some of you, I'm also part of that. What's the word I want to look for here? I'm part of that group rather, where I didn't have a father figure in my life. Now, no, it's not because of drugs or gang related things of that nature. And at the same time, it wasn't for anything, no, but because like he died in the war, he died, or he was taken away from me, you know, his life was taken away from me, anything. No, it's nothing like that. I don't want to get into my personal background because again, that's my business. But at the same time, I didn't have a male figure in my life. And it was my mom and grandma that raised me, and they raised me quite well. Like, I'm really proud of how they raised me. So, but I think I said this once before that I feel fortunate to have them in my life. But there's others who did not have a father figure that was not as fortunate, and it did affect them. But for those who were affected, there was some that was more affected than others. And that's understandable. And, it could affect them as black men. It could affect their masculinity. So do we ridicule them for, how can you ridicule somebody for that? Like, you really can't. Like, you got to be heartless to do that. And we get more on that part later. But, that's a reason. That's a legit reason. Because they didn't have a male figure to show them how to be a man. They had to either figure out how on their own, rather, which is what I kind of had to do, or the women had to take an extra responsibility of trying to imitate a man for their son. And that's hard for women to do because they are not men. They're not supposed to be men. They're women. Women got their own issues that they deal with. And we don't understand that because, again, we are not women. We're men. So yes, it is hard and unfair for a woman to try to be the male figure in their son's lives when it's close to impossible because they're not men. So yes, that is a reason. Now another reason why parenting is an answer is because of how they were raised. Speaking of the lack of a male present, so the woman may raise them as their own, like as a female, and it happens. Like I saw a video, and this ain't about men or females. This is actually about pets. Where what is it? I forgot what the breed was, but it was a dog, and it wasn't a small dog. It was like a big dog, but he was raised as a cat because he was surrounded by cats. So his mannerisms and how he acted and things like was like a cat. So that can't exist with humans. So obviously, without the father figure in their life, without that dominant masculinity in their life to show them how to be masculine in their own image or whatever, the women just said, you know what, I'm not going to take that responsibility, and rightfully so. I'm just going to raise them however, and they raise them to be not as masculine as most men or some men or whatever the case may be. And yeah, these guys, or these kids who become men, get ridiculed for that. And it's not their fault for that. You know, it's the lack of a male figure, whether, you know, and the lack of that male presence. That's why they was raised, and that's why to the some of the public eye, their masculinity, quote unquote, isn't there, is shot, is destroyed, or whatever. Now, let's get on to where I think my homeboy who started the topic really tried to get into over here. And that's, yes, black women are responsible for the destruction of black men masculinity. Now remember, I said it's more no than yes, but it still exists. Yes, it still exists. And here's two reasons why. Different interests. Now, somebody mentioned, and you know, a number of guys mentioned, talk about how he interested in country music, he interested in video games, he interested in this, he interested in that. But the women who are around him or whatever look at him and question his masculinity because he played video games, he listened to country music, he act like the typical quote unquote American black guy. And I made a video about that, link in the description box below, about two universes that we as African Americans and black people are part of. You're either a part of Universe 1 or Universe A. Universe A is basically the guys where they like anime, they read the manga, you know, they go to anime conventions, they go to these comic book conventions, they into comics, you know, they don't technically listen to rap music, they don't technically listen to R&B, they listen to other music like techno or J-pop or trance or country music and things of that nature. They're not into sports, you know, they're not into vehicles and things of that nature. That's Universe A. Universe 1 is the more urban style where they are into basketball and or football. They are into rap music and R&B. They are interested in cars. They are interested in going to the club. They don't play a lot of video games unless it's NBA 2K, and I'm gonna get on them in another video, or Madden and things of that nature. So that's why I categorize that as two different universes, and that's why I categorize myself to be in the middle. Because yes, I do listen to rap music, I do play Madden and 2K, I do like football, and basketball is my favorite sport. But at the same time, I'm not into cars like that. I do play video games outside of Madden and 2K. I do watch anime, you know, I do go to conventions. You know, I got that mix. I'm a mixed breed. So, and some of these black women, their interests are different from, you know, other people. And that's okay. You know, everybody is their own individual. And I'll get more on that later. So, but because, and this is a stupid reason, but apparently it's a reason that exists. Just because they don't act like the quote unquote typical black guy, their masculinity is different. I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, what? That's so stupid. Just because they're interested in different stuff, you questioning their masculinity, it's stupid, but it still exists. And it shouldn't exist because it's just so stupid. Now, another reason why is black women's fault for the destruction of black men's masculinity. And I think only one person commented on this reason. but nobody respond to it. And I got a big smile on my face because some of you, maybe even most of you, are going to come at me for this reason. And that is this. Again, now keep in mind the words I'm using here. Some of you, not all of you, not most of you, aka not the majority of you, but some of you planned this. So here's what I mean by this. You're dating a guy. You break down his masculinity on purpose so you can be the ruler of this relationship. So anything you want, you can get with no back talk, with no arguing, with no yeah buts. And you basically got your man pussy ripped, and you can brag to your friends about, oh man, I got my man pussy ripped, man. I want my relationship. I'm ready to pass my family and things of that nature. Some of you, again, keyword, some of you, not all, not most, not majority. Some of you plan to destroy a black man's masculinity so you can run him. And again, it's some. And I don't want to hear, oh man, that never happened to me. I never met anybody that done that. I mean, yeah, that's cool that the 50 people, the 50 black women that you know never done it, but there's more than just the people you know. So don't act like it don't exist. All I'm saying is not every single black woman in the whole entire planet does it. I ain't saying that most of you done it. I ain't saying the majority of you done it. I'm just saying some. Don't act like it don't exist. Don't act like there aren't black women out there like that, because there are, just not a lot. That's all I'm saying. And the last reason I want to get into is that people are just negative, and this can be breaking down to a number of categories. So people just they just rude and nasty for whatever reason. And I think I did a video about this. Yes, I did a video about this because I don't get it. I really don't get it, because what are you gaining from being negative? Like, are you getting money? Are you getting head? Are you getting pussy? Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? What are you gaining from talking bad about another human being? Like, you are gaining nothing from it. You ain't getting money. Your life is not on the line. So why are you doing it? In fact, if you trying to talk down to another guy, your life will be on the line, and not in a good way. So why are you doing it? It makes no sense to me. It really don't. So so I'm gonna give you 3 reasons on what you could do about this. And one suggestion that a number of you guys said was change your settings. So, and then 3 things were brought up. What if it's a part of your school? What if a part of your job? What if it's a part of your community? I mean, yeah, you can change your community. I mean, change your setting rather, like, or have it change. Not change as in you leaving, but have it change, like make it different. So if you work at a job, because remember, if you read the handbook that you get when you start a new job, they talk about harassment in there. They really do. So you can report to your boss, hey, this person like trash talking me or whatever, blah, 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 and it makes me feel really uncomfortable. Your boss can talk to him about it, or your boss can do something about it. I mean, speak up. That's what you have to do. If it's affecting your job, if it's affecting you at school or college or whatever, speak up. Speak up. Now, like as a young kid going to school, yeah, it's kind of hard to speak up, especially in like the previous generation, because you'll be ridiculed for being a tattletale and people won't like you for telling things of that nature. I mean, but you gotta look at what's best for you, man. You gotta look at what's best for you. So speak up, just speak up. And if you get ridiculed for that, then I mean, you may have to speak up to your parents and see about changing schools and things of that nature. But I mean, speak up, just speak up. Now, if it's in your community, then you can do 2 things. I mean, really, you can do 1 thing, really, and that's ignore it. Like, ignore it, because it's not like, again, yeah, they have nothing to gain from being negative to you, but outside of your emotions and your mental state of mind, things of that nature, you have nothing to lose from them saying that stuff to you if you're strong enough. Like, I mean, I get it. Not everybody's strong enough to ignore what they're saying and they'll react a certain way, whether it's by I can't get the word out, but by basically being silent and soft or whatever, or by trying to be hard and try to be aggressive about it and beat them down or shoot and kill them, things of that nature. But in some cases, you just have to ignore it because, I mean, you gotta remember the phrase, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt me. I mean, some of y'all may say, oh, that's bullshit. But let's be real here. Let's go back to that first category under black men as being the answer. Y'all can't be fragile, man. Y'all can't let words break you down. You know, you can't be fragile like that. Now, again, it's easier said than done. I get that. But, you know, talk to somebody about it. Somebody you can trust to try to help you be strong to ignore stuff like that. And the third thing I want to say about negative people is, like, if you don't have anything to say that is not nice, then don't say it at all, because, again, you have nothing to gain from it. You really don't. You really have nothing to gain from it. And I want to get into this bonus topic, and that is this. Remember, this is an opinionated topic. So what it means is everybody will have their own opinion. Why does everybody have their own opinion? Because everybody is their own person. Everybody is an individual. There's a little thing called individuality, where everybody looks different, talks different, acts different, and are interested in different things. So your definition of masculinity will be different from my definition of masculinity. Let's talk about my definition of masculinity, shall we? Because for those of you in the Facebook comments, y'all won't know about this. But for those of you who've been watching this channel for a number of months or even a number of years now, you may come back at me for doing this topic to bring up an old segment that I used to do. And I'm not going to get too much into it because I'm smiling right now because I really have no answer for that. Do I take back doing those segments? No. But I'm not going to, answer those. I'm just going to bring it to light. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to bring it to light. But again, everybody their own individual. So everybody's definition of masculinity is different. Oh, let me rephrase that. Every male definition of masculinity is different. And again, going back to the two Canadian dudes, obviously neither one of them are African American or black, hugging each other. One of them was on the microphone talking about hug me close, or hold me, or whichever one he said. And again, they may think, oh man, my masculinity is still intact. I'm married. I got a kid. I'm married to a beautiful wife, blah, blah, blah. But to the eyes of another guy, they may look at that and say, man, these fools are gay. So you got to remember that everybody's masculinity is different. So, and again, don't try and question another dude's masculinity. And that's another topic in itself, because one of the things somebody said, and I really have no response to this, and I'm being honest, I really don't have an opinion to this. And this was a female who said this, and I quote, "But if you're confident in your sexuality, why is it insulting? You're making it seem like gay men aren't masculine, which they are. It doesn't make them less of a man." And that really got me thinking. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know as in I disagree or I agree. Like, I truly don't know what to say about that. Like, that's an interesting concept. Like, are gay men still masculine? Because again, everybody's definition of masculinity is different. Everybody's standards are different. So, could you say that a gay man is masculine? I mean, it's possible. Because now that I think about it, I'd have to say it is. I have to say gay men can be masculine. Not all of them, but some of them can be. Because there's some gay men who are like dominant and like they're buff, they got a lot of strength, they're bold and things of that nature, but they're not interested in women, they're interested in men. So depending on your definition of masculinity, which again I read, and I'm gonna roll with this one, even though it's opinionated, and that is again having qualities traditionally ascribed to men as strength and boldness. So if there's a gay dude who likes men, but is, he got a lot of strength, he's bold, he's willing to get in your face and, and defend those that he care about, things of that nature, that's showing off some form of masculinity. So I have to agree with her in that statement. So that's my thoughts on masculinity, on whether or not black women are destroying it or not. And the one thing I want to keep it, and I mentioned this before, and I'm going to say it again, like I said, everybody's definition of standard masculinity is different. And I truly believe that the standards of masculinity are different with black men in comparison to every other man in the world. Like, right, Caucasians, Hispanics, Canadian, Japanese, and things of that nature. I think truly black men's standard for masculinity is way different than every other man out there. Because there's some things that every other man can do and get away with and not be ridiculed, things of that nature, by their own kind, in comparison to what black men can and cannot do without being ridiculed by their own kind. So I want to point that out there as well, man. This is a 40-minute video. I apologize for that, but this was a really deep topic, and I had to get into it, man. So with that out the way, man, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.